Flashback to a lush, green field. A young Medusa, played by a young actress, runs through the meadow laughing with her sisters, who are also beautiful, graceful. The scene shows a peaceful life before the storm of destiny arrives. Medusa was born into a world where beauty was both a gift and a curse. She, along with her sisters, were the most beautiful maidens of all. With golden hair that shone like the sun, and eyes that could captivate any soul, Medusa was admired by all. But little did she know, the gods' jealousy was a cruel force that would twist her fate forever. Medusa's sister, Stheno, laughs, her hair flowing freely in the wind. Stheno: Medusa, you're going to break every heart in this kingdom one day. Medusa smiles, but there's a hint of unease. Medusa: if only I could find someone who doesn't love me for my beauty. Medusa is walking along the beach alone, her long hair cascading over her shoulders. The waves crash in the distance, and the camera slowly zooms in on her face as she's lost in thought. She doesn't notice the powerful figure who approaches. Poseidon, god of the sea. Poseidon, with a calm yet authoritative voice: beauty like yours does not belong in this world of men. Medusa looks up, startled, as Poseidon steps forward, his eyes gleaming with fascination. Medusa, cautiously: your words are strange, god of the sea. I've watched you from afar, Medusa. There's power in you, an untamed beauty, untapped potential. Join me, and together we can rule the seas. Medusa stares at him, conflicted. Poseidon's charm is undeniable, but she hesitates, sensing something dark beneath his words. Medusa: I'm not interested in ruling anything. Poseidon, smiling darkly: perhaps you should be. Beauty, after all, is a weapon, and weapons are meant to be wielded. The encounter with Athena. The scene transitions to Athena's temple. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, stands before Medusa, her eyes cold and piercing. Athena, sternly: Poseidon is a god of the seas, and I am the goddess of wisdom. But even gods must respect the laws of fate. Medusa, you have defied the natural order. Medusa looks confused, feeling betrayed by the gods. Her beauty, once her greatest gift, has become a curse. Medusa: what do you mean? What law have I broken? Athena, with a sadistic smile: you belong to Poseidon now. Your beauty has lured him, and for that, you will pay the price. Before Medusa can react, Athena raises her hand, and suddenly Medusa's golden locks twist and writhe. The hair turns into snakes, hissing violently. Medusa gasps, horrified by the transformation. Athena: now you shall be cursed forever. No longer will you be able to look upon any mortal or god without turning them to stone. You will become a monster, Fae. Medusa's fall into madness. Medusa, now fully transformed, stands before a mirror, her reflection showing the horror that Athena has cursed her with. Snakes for hair, her once beautiful face now monstrous. She weeps, feeling both betrayed and isolated. And so Medusa was cast away, no longer a beautiful maiden, but a creature of terror. Forsaken by the gods, cursed to living solitude, her once vibrant soul now twisted by rage, sorrow, and loneliness. Medusa's revenge. Medusa is seen standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the ocean. Her eyes glow with fury, and the wind howls around her. She raises her head high, accepting her fate as a creature of destruction. Medusa, shouting to the heavens: do they think they can break me? Silence me? I will not be a monster in their eyes. I will be a queen. The scene shifts to Medusa, now living in exile on a desolate island. The scene shifts to Medusa, now living in exile on a desolate island. A group of men from a nearby village approaches her lair, drawn by stories of her power. As they try to confront her, Medusa turns them to stone one by one with her gaze. Medusa, coldly, "Do you think me a beast? I am a woman who was wronged, a woman with nothing left but vengeance." Scene 6, Perseus' quest. The camera shifts to Perseus, the hero tasked with slaying Medusa. He is determined, holding the shield given to him by Athena. Perseus, "I have to stop her. She's a threat to everyone. The gods have spoken." As Perseus ventures to the island, the camera shows him preparing for battle, donning his armor, and reflecting on his mission. He doesn't know the full truth of Medusa's past, only that she's a monster to be slain. Perseus approaches Medusa in her dark, eerie lair. The tension is palpable. He raises his shield to reflect her gaze, and as he enters, the atmosphere grows heavy with silence. Medusa, from the shadows, "You've come to kill me, haven't you?" Perseus, with a grim expression, "I must. You are too dangerous." Medusa, laughing bitterly, "Too dangerous? I was beautiful once, and because of that, I was cursed by the gods. You think you can end my suffering with a single strike?" The two circle each other, preparing for the final confrontation. As Medusa strikes with her snake-filled hair, Perseus narrowly avoids her deadly gaze using the shield. He finally steps forward and decapitates her, her head falling to the ground. Medusa with her final breath, "I was never the monster. They made me one." Medusa's severed head is placed in front of Athena, who looks down at it with a cold, emotionless expression. Perseus stands in the background, his eyes filled with sadness and regret. Athena, "Her reign of terror ends today. The gods have spoken." Perseus looks at the head of Medusa, his face filled with sorrow. The camera lingers on Medusa's peaceful expression in death, no longer a monster, but a tragic figure. And so, Medusa's story was written in blood and stone. A beautiful woman, turned into a monster by the cruelty of the gods, her fate sealed by betrayal and vengeance. In the end, she was nothing more than a broken reflection of what she once was. But some stories are never truly over. The legacy of Medusa. The camera zooms out, showing the stone statues of men and gods alike, all turned to stone by Medusa's gaze. The final shot lingers on Medusa's face, her expression a mixture of sorrow and defiance. Even in death, Medusa lives on. Her story, a warning to those who would wield beauty, power, and vengeance without understanding the cost. Fade to black. After the fall, Medusa's legacy begins. As the camera fades back in from black, we see Perseus sailing away with Medusa's head in a golden satchel. The skies grow darker. Lightning cracks across the heavens. In the shadows of Mount Olympus, the gods stir. Zeus watching from above. One curse lifted, another unleashed. Cut to a hidden cave, far from the island, deep beneath the earth. A figure in a dark robe kneels before a stone altar. A glowing relic pulses in the shadows, Medusa's blood dripping from a blade. The robed figure begins to chant in an ancient tongue. Hooded figure chanting, "She who was wronged shall rise again. The Gorgon's spirit shall not be silenced." As the blood hits the ground, it seeps into the earth like fire through cracks in stone. Something ancient begins to stir beneath the surface. The snakes hiss again. Medusa reborn. Flash of light. Medusa's severed head opens its eyes. The screen flashes white, then cuts to black. Voice echoing, deep and feminine. You cannot kill what was never truly mortal. The prophecy unfolds. Scene opens in a bustling marketplace in a distant city. Perseus, carrying Medusa's head with him, walks among the crowd, his face weary and burdened by the weight of his task. I've done what I was asked, but the weight of it linning. What did I truly end? Was it justice or just another cycle of gods playing their games? A wise old oracle stands in the middle of the market. She watches Perseus from afar, her eyes narrowed in knowledge. She approaches him with slow, deliberate steps. Oracle, softly, almost in a whisper. Brave Perseus, you have slain the beast, but not the curse. Medusa's blood was not meant to be spilled. It is the key to something far greater. Perseus, startled, looking at her intently. What do you mean? Medusa is dead. Her story is over. Oracle, grimly. Her story never truly ends. The gods themselves fear what her blood can awaken. There is a power in her spirit, a legacy beyond death. She will return. Perseus is taken aback, looking down at the head of Medusa hanging from his belt. His eyes flash with uncertainty. Perseus, firmly. I will make sure it stays buried. Oracle, shaking her head. You cannot bury what has already been unleashed. What did I truly end? Was it justice or just another cycle of gods playing their games? A wise old oracle stands in the middle of the market. She watches Perseus from afar, her eyes narrowed in knowledge. She approaches him with slow, deliberate steps. Oracle, softly, almost in a whisper. Brave Perseus, you have slain the beast, but not the curse. Medusa's blood was not meant to be spilled. It is the key to something far greater. Perseus, startled, looking at her intently. What do you mean? Medusa is dead. Her story is over. Oracle, grimly. Her story never truly ends. The gods themselves fear what her blood can awaken. There is a power in her spirit, a legacy beyond death. She will return. Perseus is taken aback, looking down at the head of Medusa hanging from his belt. His eyes flash with uncertainty. Perseus, firmly. I will make sure it stays buried. Oracle, shaking her head. You cannot bury what has already been unleashed. It has already begged. Medusa's curse was never just a monster's fate. It was the beginning of a prophecy. Athena's guilt, cut to Athena's grand temple atop Mount Olympus. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, stands alone, looking out over the mortal world. Her expression is clouded with regret. The wind howls through the marble columns, but there's no peace in her eyes. Athena, muttering to herself, she was never meant to be a monster. I didn't want this. A shadow falls behind her. Zeus, the mighty king of the gods, steps forward, his face stern. Zeus, you cannot undo what has been done, daughter. Medusa's curse was inevitable. Athena, turning, furious. You think that excuses us? I condemned her for something she never asked for. We destroyed a soul, ruined her life for nothing. Zeus, with authority. Sometimes the gods must act swiftly, Athena. We do not have the luxury of mercy. Her fate was sealed the moment Poseidon laid eyes on her. You had no choice. Athena, I had a choice. I chose vengeance over compassion. Now, we will all pay the price. The Gorgon reborn. Cut to the dark cave where the figure from earlier continues chanting, deep in the earth. The blood of Medusa, still glowing, fills the cracks in the stone, and the ground begins to tremble violently. Hooded figure, chanting louder, "Rise, Medusa, rise from death's embrace. The god's judgment will be your power." The camera pulls back as the snake's eyes in Medusa's severed head begin to glow. The earth shakes violently, and in a burst of light, the severed head is engulfed by a supernatural force. The transformation begins. Medusa's return. The camera cuts to a thunderstorm raging over the sea. A silhouette stands on the cliffs, Medusa, now fully restored, her hair of snakes hissing in the violent winds. Her eyes burn with vengeance as the power of the gods courses through her. Her body is different, more powerful, more regal, a queen ready to reclaim her throne. As Medusa gazes over the land, she speaks aloud, her voice soft but filled with purpose. "Medusa, they thought they could control me, break me, but now I am reborn. This world will know my name." Scene 15, Perseus' Dilemma. Cut to Perseus, who is standing alone on the deck of a ship, staring out into the churning sea. He holds the golden satchel containing Medusa's head. The sky darkens as a storm begins to approach. Perseus, to himself, "Could it be true? Is she really back? I thought I ended this, but now something feels different. I feel it in my bones. The curse has not been broken." A sailor approaches, nervous. "Sailor, Perseus, the sky. It's as if the gods themselves are angry. We cannot sail into this storm." Perseus, gripping the satchel tighter. "We sail into it. Medusa's curse is far from over, and I will finish what I started, for better or worse." Medusa's power unleashed, back on the island where Medusa was first cursed. The earth splits open, and from the depths, Medusa's army begins to rise. Creatures of stone, once turned by her gaze, now walk again, armed with fury and vengeance. Medusa stands before them, commanding them with a mere gesture. Her army is vast, and she is their queen. Medusa, with an echoing voice, "The gods will tremble, the mortals will kneel. This world will remember the name of Medusa." The gathering of heroes. Perseus, now realizing the true threat Medusa poses, gathers a new group of heroes, including Andromeda, Heracles, and others who have heard whispers of Medusa's return. They prepare for the battle ahead, knowing that the fight with the Gorgon may be the hardest one yet. Andromeda, Perseus, serious, determined, both. But this time we will not be their pawns. We will fight for the right to choose our own fate. The storm of the gods. The screen cuts to a stormy sky. Thunder crashing above the island, where Medusa has risen again. The earth splits open, and from the depths, Medusa's army begins to rise. Creatures of stone, once turned by her gaze, now walk again, armed with fury and vengeance. Medusa stands before them, commanding them with a mere gesture. Her army is vast, and she is their queen. Medusa, with an echoing voice, "The gods will tremble, the mortals will kneel. This world will remember the name of Medusa." The gathering of heroes. Perseus, now realizing the true threat Medusa poses, gathers a new group of heroes, including Andromeda, Heracles, and others who have heard whispers of Medusa's return. They prepare for the battle ahead, knowing that the fight with the Gorgon may be the hardest one yet. Andromeda, Perseus, serious, determined. But this time, we will not be their pawns. We will fight for the right to choose our own fate. The storm of the gods. The screen cuts to a stormy sky. Thunder crashing above the island, where Medusa has risen again. The hero's journey. The scene opens on a darkened cave beneath the cliffs. Perseus and his group of heroes, Andromeda, Heracles, and other warriors, gather around a fire. They are weary, their faces hardened by the reality of what they are about to face. The air is thick with tension.